Hello, Junie B. Jones. We are going to be reading two chapters today, which is chapter 4 and chapter 5. So Junie B. Jones, Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, P.S. So does May. So chapter 4 is called Going Last. Dear first grade journal, Mother and Daddy were not good sports about the note. They said it's not funny to throw someone off a sleigh. That made me laugh all over again. I got sent to my room for a timeout. Grown-ups do not understand humor. From Junie B., first grader. I put down my pencil and I glared my eyes at May's head. She did not look up from her journal. I know you're staring at me, Junie Jones, but I don't care that we got notes sent home, she said. My mother was proud of me. In fact, she said that you deserve to get tattled on. I glared harder. Sometimes if you glare hard enough, you can melt people's heads. I saw that in a movie commercial once. It was PG-13, I believe. I kept squinting and glaring, but May's head did not melt. Finally, I rested my eyes. I will try to melt her again at lunch. Just then, Mr. Scary stood up at his desk and he said to put our journals away. Boys and girls, today is the day for our first visit to the holiday gift shop in the media center. Remember, he said, I sent a notice about it home to your parents last week? He smiled. Today we'll just be looking at the gifts, he said. Then, on Friday, when we'll go back with our money and buy the things that we want. I waved my hand all around. Guess what, Mr. Scary? Guess what? My mother said I get to spend $1 whole on every person in my family, and that adds up to $5 entire dollars, I said. Lucille raised her hand. I can spend all the money in the world, she said. I'm rich. She stood up and fluffed herself. My family has more money than you can shake a stick at. Mr. Scary stared at her for a real long time. Yes, well, fortunately, we don't need to be rich to shop at the gift shop, Lucille, he said at last. Everything there is very affordable. Does anybody know what affordable means? I do, I called out. Affordable means cheap. My grandpa Frank Miller loves cheap. Sheldon jumped up. Hey, my grandpa loves cheap too. My grandma calls him cheap old Ned. Mr. Scary did a chuckle. Before we go to the gift shop, we're going to draw names for our Secret Santa gift party. That way, you'll be able to look for your Secret Santa gifts while you're down there too, he said. We've been talking about this party all week. Can anyone tell me the most important rule about being a Secret Santa? Room 1 shouted the rule together. You must keep the secret. Mr. Scary did a thumbs up. Yes, excellent. After you pick your name today, you must keep the name a secret, he said. If you don't keep the secret, then you're not really a Secret Santa, are you? After that, he carried around a basket with everyone's names in it, and all of the children closed their eyes, and they picked a name. Only too bad for me, because I'm in the very last seat of the very last row, and so when Mr. Scary finally got to me, there was only one name left in the whole entire basket. And here is the ridiculous part of all. My teacher pretended I should be happy about it. Congratulations, Junie B. Jones, he said. You have the honor of choosing the final name. I drummed my fingers, very annoyed. Okay, see, one name left is not actually called choosing. I said, one name left is called take it or leave it. I said, I crossed my mad arms. I don't like being in this seat, Mr. Scary. I don't like it, I don't like it. I get all the bad stuff back here. I said, even on the very first day of school, I got the only crayons that were already used. Mr. Scary looked up at the ceiling. Yes, Junie B., I know that. We all know that, he said. You mention it every time we color. I looked at some of my friends. Did I mention that my red crayon wasn't even pointy? Because it wasn't. You know, my red crayon was already roundy, said Lenny. Yes, you told us that already. I drummed my fingers some more. Did I mention that my greenie was broken in half? I asked. My greenie was just a teeny little stubby, said Jose. See, you told us that too. Mr. Scary handed me the last name. Look, right now, someone in this room is counting on you to be their Secret Santa, Junie B., he said. So you really, really need to read that name. Now, I did a sigh. And I slid down in my chair real glum, and I read the name. And it says May. Chapter 5, Elf Ladies. My head clunked down on my desk real hard. Mr. Scary read the name on my paper. I raised up and I looked at him, then I clunked back down again. Mr. Scary said, "Please knock off the clunking." He took my hands and stood me up. "Boys and girls, Junie B needs a little bit of a help reading the name," he said. "We'll be right back." Then, quick as a wink, he hurried me into the hall and closed the door. I crossed my mad arms again. "It's not fair, Mr. Scary. I hate that name. I hate it. I hate it," I said. My teacher snapped his fingers. "You know I don't allow that word in my room, Junie B." He said, "We do not hate in room 1. I looked around myself. "But I'm not hating in room 1. I said, "I'm hating in the hall." Mr. Scary looked at me. "We don't hate in the hall either," he said. I raised my eyebrows real curious. "Really? No kidding," I said. "A lot of children would be surprised to hear that." Mr. Scary bent down next to me. "Look, I know you and May aren't the best of friends," he said, "but this is a time of peace and goodwill, remember? And being a Secret Santa to someone you don't like is the truest form of goodwill there is." I stared at him. "How do teachers come up with this stuff?" "Really, Junie B," he said, "if you do something nice for May, you'll feel so proud inside. You will feel like a gift that you've given yourself." I kept staring. Maybe they pick it up at teacher school. After that, he ruffled my hair and he walked me back inside. Pretty soon, all of the children lined up at the door and we followed Mr. Scary to the gift shop. The media center is down the hall and round the corner. There was a gift shop lady in an elf hat. "Welcome, room 1, she said. "Welcome to our holiday gift shop." She smiled at us with big white teeth. "I'm the president of the PTO, she said. "My name is Mrs. Hooks, but just for today, you can call me Elf Ellen." She looked all around. "Some of you might know my son, Jeff. Jeff is a big 3rd grader. Roger raised his hand in the air. "I know Jeff Hooks," he said. "Jeff Hooks stole my milk money last year." Elf Ellen stood there very frozen. Then she quick pointed across the room. "Over there is Elf Wendy. Elf Wendy and I are here to help you with your gift selections. If you have any questions, please let us know." Roger did wave his hand again. "Did Jeff Hooks ever get punished for what he did? I reported into the office, but I never got my money back." Elf Ellen squinted her eyes at him. "I meant questions about the gift shop," she said. After that, she passed out lists with all the gift items on them, and she told us about the prices. "Children, as you can see, each of our 5 gift tables has a number on it," she said. "The number on the table matches the price of the gifts on that particular table." She pointed. "For example, all of the gifts on table 1 sell for $1, and all of the gifts on table 2 sell for $2, and the gifts on table 3 sell for $3, and so on. Does everyone understand?" Sheldon raised his hand. "What about the gifts on table 4? He said. "How much do they go for?" Elf Ellen sucked in her cheeks. "Table 4 has a 4 on it, doesn't it? 4 means 4. They sell for $4. Sheldon nodded very thoughtfully. "I see," he said. "And table 5? Elf Ellen looked at Mr. Scary. "Is he pulling my leg?" Mr. Scary grinned. Sheldon grinned too. Roger called out another table. "Where's the 35 cents table?" He asked. "That's how much Jeff Hooks still owes me. Is there a table 35 cents? Elf Ellen glared her eyes at Roger. Then she quick picked in her pocket and she gave him 35 cents. "There," she said. "Are you satisfied?" After that, she took off her hat and put it on the counter, and she said she was going on break. Roger smiled. Mr. Scary smiled too. That's the end of chapter 5. Well, guess we'll have to see what happens in chapter 6 next time.